Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a different video. And I've done a few of these in the past, and I call it kind of weird things for my collection. I have been going through the boxes when I moved to New York. I'm finally going through the last of my boxes and the stuff that's just been laying around, trying to create space for my collection, throwing a lot of old stuff away. Like, I'll give you an example. I've got tons and tons of CDs I collected or bought. And obviously, I'm trying to figure out what to do with the CDs. I'm thinking about just putting them all in a binder and then throwing away the cases and just having the binders, because I want to use that space for the CD racks to put more bookcases in. So that's an example of just me doing weird stuff, but it was cool to find like older CDs like I hadn't seen in a long time. Like, for example, this CD right here, Sag Smile, from Oklahoma. This is like, important to me because being Cherokee from Oklahoma, there's songs on here that are in Cherokee. It's a rock band. They did some really cool songs. It's a interesting album. It's not easy to find. It's not on YouTube. I think it's on maybe Spotify. Check it out if you guys want to just check out something cool, but I found it. And again, it's cool to see, Cherokee Native American music, and it's a CD I forgot I had, and it's cool to find it going through all those old CDs. So been working on that, and I found some stuff that I remember I had, but it's been a while since I've seen it. So the first weird thing I have here, so this guy on YouTube had this thing from Dick Roat. So this is about a pirate named Dick Roat, and this guy wrote an article for Sports Illustrated on Dick Roat, Dick Roat won the MVP for the National League for the Pirates when they won the World Series. And so here is the article, kind of like from Sports Illustrated. And it is, I believe, from 1960 as well. So it's from, it is from August 8th, 1960. So before they won the World Series, they did an article on Dick Roat, and it's called Headman in a Hurry. And the thing that's cool about this, so this is the original article that he wrote, and you can see there's Dick Roat's wife and kids. So it's kind of beat up. This is the article, but that's not the important part, because here is the important part. This is the actual manuscript that was submitted to Sports Illustrated from this author. And so the author's name is Roy Terrell. And so he submitted this article. And so what's cool about it, and we'll walk through it just for a few minutes, is you can see the typos. I'll kind of go up here. The correction, the typos are in here. And I think as you go through, there are editor notes. So, right here. So here is the manuscript. Here is a version here that the editor wrote notes on. So you can see, like he's making corrections. There's notes here. So it's kind of cool to see the finished article that was typed up, that was submitted, is right here. So I guess when it was published, he got the original article back that he submitted. And then here is the editor notes that came back, I'm assuming with the original, that he then, used to do corrections on. So there you go. So this is just kind of cool. I mean, I don't know, like, if this is worth anything, or, I'm assuming it's a one of a kind. Like, no one probably has anything like this. Doesn't matter. I mean, it's an article from August 1960, Sports Illustrated. I like the fact that it mentions Smokey Burgess right there, who's one of my favorite players of all time. It's just like, it's a, chronicling the 1960 series when they won. It's talking about the manager and Dick Roat, who won the MVP. And it's just really cool. And there's kind of like, on the back here, there's some notes about Dick Roat, some of his inspirational leader of the Pirates, blah, blah, blah. So it's just like a very cool thing. And I'm actually, I don't really know what, I kind of, it's like one of those things where when I got it, I don't think it was too expensive, but I knew it was rare. It's like a kind of a one of a kind thing. I don't know if like the Grote family would want it. The original manuscript. I would assume that if I could ever get a hold of them, maybe I just give it to them, because to me it's like it's cool to have just kind of laying around, but you can see, like it's starting to deteriorate. It probably needs to be preserved somehow to keep it from falling apart even further. But I thought I'd share with you guys because it's really something abnormal for me to collect. It's not my normal thing to collect, but I just liked it because it was a pirate related material. Next up is just kind of like I ran into this before, and I didn't want to throw it away, but it's the 38th National, um, you know, guide or program. I don't know if they do this anymore. It was really just an advertisement for Heritage Auction. Maybe they do this anymore, but it was kind of cool to flip through here and see some of the auctions stuff that was in here. They had like Bobby Jones stuff. They spent a lot more about memorabilia in these auctions back in the day. So this was 2017. This is kind of cool. 6 years ago, how the hobby's really changed since 2017. You can see the dealers in the back. You can see, different, who is signing, so you've got Dick Butkus, who's unfortunately passed, Brett Hulk, and, Alex Rodriguez, Terrell Davis. So it's like, a lot of, players that still are popular today. Mike Tyson would have been cool back in the day. So, talking about fines and cards, cool. So that's kind of a cool, artifact, but it's more of a propaganda piece than anything else. Next up is, so this is kind of cool. I found this just laying around. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but everyone knows I'm really into music. And I found this. So I went to the Blue Man Group on our first anniversary when I was after getting married. So this is the program from that time period. I don't know if this program is the same every year or if they change it up, but this was would have been 2006 ish when I got this program. So it's just kind of fun, live at the Luxor. Yep. So I'm a big fan. I mean, they're very fun to see live, but I thought that was pretty cool. Just laying in the pile of stuff, with the Dick Grote article, Blue Man Group, all flows together. One thing that being a collector, what happens a lot of times is I don't collect Sports Illustrated at all. But what happens is people knowing that you collect, football and basketball or baseball cards, they seem to think Sports Illustrated things are worth a lot of money or that they're collectible. And so people just keep giving me Sports Illustrated magazines. So here's an example of just like someone just gave me this magazine. Franco Harris is cool. And he passed away recently as well. Too recently, but I think within the last year. So it's cool to have this here, but I'm just not a big collector of Sports Illustrated magazines. But I didn't want to throw it away because someone gave it to me. But it was cool. This is something that being a Cornell grad, this is a 1953 program. I thought that was pretty cool. I haven't looked into it. I haven't opened this thing up in probably since I bought it. I have no clue. Showcoff Field is still where they play. So that's still the place that Cornell plays their football games. They're not ever that great at football. I mean, they've won the Ivy. They'll randomly win an Ivy championship here or there. But they're not like a powerhouse. They had one amazing player in the history, I believe, in recent times, Ed Marinero. When he was there, they were pretty good. But here's a 1953 program. It's still pretty good condition. It's pretty white. It hasn't really yellowed. Here is the players and their suits. It's kind of cool. Yale, this their players. You can see some of the advertising. It's cool Coke advertising right there. I think that's pretty cool. Oops. At least knock stuff down. Pretty cool advertising there. Here is that's a really nice Chesterfield. There you go. Cigarette ads there. There you go. You can see the whole Yale and Cornell starting lineup. So yeah, I mean, it's very 50s. More Coke advertising, car advertising. So yeah, I mean, I think kind of it's very much what it looked like back in the day to see this kind of day in the life. I think also too, like, it's hard to go back to this time period and think like, this is just like normal stuff, watch advertising, usually you only see the best of the best from this time period. So you don't see like, what everything, all the ads looked like, and a Lucky Strike ad, right in the middle of a college program. Probably won't see that as much anymore. That's something you just don't see. Next up is something really weird, being from Indiana, or moving from Indiana. So this is from Muncie Park, which is Muncie, Indiana. So when Pittsburgh used to do spring training, they used to actually do some of it in Indiana in the 40s. And so this program is from basically a dinner that they had after, a spring training game. It's been folded, but you could go, here's their spring training, and you can see that Lafayette, Muncie, they were playing in Indiana at this time in spring training, March and April. They had games in Terre Haute, Lafayette, Muncie. So Fitz Evansville. So it's really interesting. They were spring training in Indiana at this point. And then there's like Honus Wagner, Lloyd Wayner, a part of the kind of personalities. So you go to dinner with these guys, and you get to, hang out with the chief of police, and then, Lloyd Wayner. Here's the roster, for the Pirates during that time period. Lloyd Wayner was still on, was still on the team at that point. So he was really, Vince DiMaggio is on the team. So they were pretty terrible in this time period. So I don't know if there was any other Hall of Fame players, on this team at this time period. Because really the transition from the 20s to the 40s really was not great. But you can see the advertising in the back. So it's just kind of cool. Third annual souvenir program. And so this is really just kind of like, if you went, they had these kind of dinners and things like that, and you can meet the team. And I think that, like almost like a fans fest, but, but in the 1940s. And last but not least is kind of some fun, again, people want to give me Sports Illustrated. So this one's got Clemente on it, which is pretty cool. And this is from 1959, I think. Sorry, 1967. There it is. July 3rd, 1967. And it's talking about how there's just all these like, hitters, hitting over 300. And Clemente was on the cover. So it's cool. The the UPC or the address was cut out. Really common to do. Again, I flip through here. You can see the advertising. It's kind of cool. Or some golf articles and handheld camera. I mean, things have changed. Also the photography. This is not a great photo. I mean, it's kind of out of focus and blurry. It's kind of funny, like what passes for great photos today weren't that great tomorrow. Don't kill the martini. Very interesting. So, next is, really interesting. This is the 79 Pirates yearbook. Dave Parker was the 78 MVP and batting champion. They won the World Series this year. So this is the year they won the World Series. So it's cool. I love flipping through here. It more chronicles the 78 season, but it's sort of what was when you went to a game in 79, this is what you would have got. And then they won the World Series this year. So to me, it's like a relic of that championship year. This photo, I believe, was used on the 81 Topps Willie Stargell card. That photo looks very familiar. So it's cool to see Dave Parker. Dave Parker was by far the best player on this team at this point, even better than Stargell was in his last few years. So Parker had really taken over. So you can see this team, Kent Tekulve, big time reliever. That's cool. It's not in the greatest shape, but it's just fun, a relic from that time period. Then last but not least is a, I don't know what this is from, like what the paper, if it's Sports Illustrated or not, but here is just a article cut out, and it's got Mazeroski's signature on it. And it has his 60 season, so I'm assuming this is kind of chronicling his World Series home run. It looks like it's from that time period, so this could have been a 1960s article or maybe 61 article, because it has his 60 stats, it has the World Series home run, so it's kind of from that time period, and it's autographed by Maz, so that's pretty cool. Found that in the pile. So that's all the weird stuff I have to show for you today. Hope you guys like my weird stuff. And let me know if you want to know more about my weird stuff and just stuff I have hanging around that I've been collecting for these 40 years now, that just kind of pile up. I'm sure everyone has that kind of stuff. Share with me what you think was the coolest, and if you want to see more of it, let me know, and I'll see you next time in Cards and Comics. Bye.